Not having a specific goal might be one of the biggest reasons why you are not becoming better at calisthenics or weightlifting. It is common sense to have goals, but the majority of people reach a point in their training where they no longer challenge themselves. They finally achieve a goal and then they never set a new one. And I think people underestimate the consequences of not having a goal. When you start calisthenics or the gym, everything is a challenge. You need to make a conscious effort every single time to arrive at the training. Therefore, you have a reason to make effort make sense. And I want to make you remember this phrase: to make effort make sense. To grow muscles or become stronger, you need to challenge yourself. And to surpass the challenge, you need effort. Without struggling in your sets, you will never make progress at anything. However, why should you challenge yourself? The only reason you challenge yourself is because you have a goal. A goal makes effort make sense. It gives your training a reason to exist. Many people always advise to train hard, but not how to train hard, and it is partially because it cannot be taught through a screen. However, a specific goal forces you to train hard. If you want to reach 100 push-ups in a row in a single set, and your personal record is 30 reps, after setting that goal, you definitely have a reason to push past 30 reps every single set, or at least try to. But without that goal of 100 reps, will there be any reason to be uncomfortable or to put enough effort to surpass your record of 30 reps? No, there wouldn't be, and therefore you will never improve. I had a time in my calisthenic journey where I truly didn't have a specific goal, and guess what? My effort was lacking, my consistency was lacking, and I wasn't going anywhere. And it is going to happen at some point. Maybe you need to focus on your career, on your family, or on something else, and you slowly drift away from the passion you had in your training. But at some point, you must commit to a specific goal. Having a specific goal not only affects your effort, but it also gives you a reason to track your progress. Most often than not, if you do not have a goal on a specific exercise, you don't have a reason to track your progress. And if you don't track your progress, you will not know how you are doing. You will not have the necessary feedback to know if what you're doing is positively affecting your progress. Maybe you are stuck 5 months in a row in the same reps or load on an exercise, but because you don't track your progress, you are not conscious of the time it has passed, and those 5 months might become 8 months without any progress at all. I personally don't track my dips because I don't have a goal on them, therefore it is very likely that I am not making any progress at all in them. However, I have a goal on muscle up to handstands, and therefore I track them and I have a greater idea on my performance. Without tracking the amount of reps or load that you do, you simply do not have feedback that whatever you're doing is working. And without feedback, you cannot make positive changes. And you don't even need to always write it down. Thinking about it is enough. If 8 months have passed and you don't see any progress, then something must obviously change. A very important part of setting goals is that they must be specific. The more specific a goal is, the more you can benefit from it. Training is about trade-offs. A reality that beginners must understand is that time and energy is limited. We cannot become great at everything at the same time. Therefore, the more we focus on something, the more energy we are going to put on it, and the more progress we are going to make. However, this is at the expense of other things. If I add sets to my muscle up to handstand, this inevitably means that I am taking away volume that could have been done to my front lever raises or handstand push-ups. I am not going to be 100% fresh if I were to do them. This is partially why front lever or planche training can be so demanding, because if you want to achieve them or be good at them, you need to basically sacrifice almost all your training volume to only those 2 exercises. Although the stronger you are, the more freedom you have and the less you need to sacrifice. If the goal is to become better at calisthenics, then you must realize that goal is too broad, because calisthenics means a lot of things. However, if the goal is to do 20 muscle ups to handstands in a row, then the goal is specific and clear. It is simpler to change your training based on the goal. It is simpler to track your progress. It is simpler to put effort. It is simpler to be consistent. Let's say your goal is to grow muscle. Once you go past your newbie gains, the goal becomes too broad. What can you really change based on that goal? However, if you want to grow your arms, then the path forward is clearer. Based on the goal, you train your arms more frequently, you add more volume, you put more effort, you add more load if necessary, you become more consistent on your arm training. You might need to stop doing so many deadlifts in order to accommodate the increase of volume, effort, frequency, and load to your arm training. The difference between not having a goal or having a very broad goal compared to having a specific goal is too big. What are your goals? How specific are they? What do you really want? Are you willing to commit to that goal? If you commit to a specific goal, you're going to make a lot of progress. If every training day you know what you want to get good at, then you will make progress. Train with purpose.